Hello and welcome to another Wrestle Carnival preview. This time we are previewing the Carnival of Champions show from the Portland Centre, Sunday the 30th of January 2022. And I've got some great guests to help me co-host this show and to discuss all of the matches that are on offer at Carnival of Champions. I've got Big Daddy Dan and Andrew from the Tea and Tights podcast. Guys, how are you doing? And thank you for rejoining me.
Really excited to be back. So many great matches to talk about. This show it's a can't miss show, really.
Indeed.
And I won't be missing it. I will be there and I cannot wait.
Indeed, absolutely. It is the first show for Wrestle Carnival in 2022, and they're going to be hitting the ground running with a bang, indeed. And if you're not sure what I'm on about, it's all about this, ladies and gentlemen. As the men's championship bout, I understand, and the women's belt, and they are beautiful belts as well, guys. What do you think of those? They were kind of photos of them came out this week. Some big old belts there, beautiful belts. Give us your thoughts.
Reminds me of the classic WCW, as well as sort of like there's the inspiration from the NJPW Triple Crown belts with that big round gold plate right in the middle. I think it's beautiful.
I think at the moment, British wrestling has got a slew of beautiful belts coming through. We've been really lucky to see some everything from the Mal Mason Lightweight Championship that's being used over at Rumble, through to Gary's ones there, through to UKPW. There's just some beautiful belts about at the moment.
Indeed, indeed. And so I'm Jonas from the Wrestling with Jonas podcast. Obviously, we've got Big Daddy Dan and Andrew Moore from the Tea and Tights podcast. But fundamentally, we're going to be talking about these two matches. The 8-men elimination gauntlet style match and the 8-women elimination gauntlet style match. And in fact, I've got to correct myself already because initially they're going to be Rumble style matches with entrants coming in at allotted times, with the final two having a match to the death, pinfall submission. But we'll go through the rules very, very shortly. But guys, straight off the bat, Dan, I'm going to start with you. What's really
coming through? But in the men's gauntlet, it's the wild card that's just been put in as they've had to move Brody Phillips down. It's Tommy Kyle. It's going to be his first match for Wrestle Carnival. And he is such a great up-and-coming talent, and to be put in that group, I think, is great, and I look forward to seeing how he does.
Indeed. And Andy?
For me, it's the international matches. It's Gabriel Kidd versus Yota Tsuji, as well as the wXw Unified Championship, Axel Tischer versus Joe Hendry. Looking forward to that.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And yeah, for me, Ivy versus Tonga, that's a match that I'm definitely looking forward to as well. But some great exhibition matches, which we'll be covering very, very soon. We are going to be taking a deep dive straight away into the men's championship match. But before we do, Gary asked me to display the rules of the championship matches for our understanding, guys, and the viewers and listeners at home. But the championship match rules. So 8 men and 8 women enter 2 separate gauntlet for the gold matches to determine the first Wrestle Carnival and Queen of the Carnival champions. 2 competitors begin the match in the ring, followed by competitors entering at timed intervals, eliminations, as in a standard Royal Rumble or Battle Royal format, in which a competitor must go over the top rope and hit the floor in order to be eliminated. If a wrestler falls to the floor without going over the top rope, or is thrown over the top rope but does not fall to the floor, the competitor may re-enter the ring and continue with the match. The final portion of the match consists of the last 2 competitors squaring off in a regular singles match, in which victory must be attained by pinfall or submission, and the winners, of course, will become the first and brand new Wrestle Carnival champion and Queen of the Carnival. So relatively straightforward there. 2 very, very exciting matches. And it's going to be a combination of a Royal Rumble, which is quite apt because the WWE's Royal Rumble will be the night before, only a few hours before, and then a one-on-one competition to determine the champion. So let's go through the 8 men that will be competing to be the first ever Wrestle Carnival champion on Sunday from the Portland Centre in Nottingham. Tommy Kyle, You mentioned him just a moment ago, Dan. And these are in no particular order, by the way. Jay Joshua, a regular and a favourite to Wrestle Carnival fans. Dean Allmark, you may remember Dean Allmark headlined show number 2 against
Doug Williams.
Thank you very much. Against Doug Williams, of course. How could I forget? And it was a cracking match, pure rules match here. Big Guns Joe will be in the match also. Charlie Sterling, one half of the Smoking Aces, Progress Tag Team Champions, of course. There we go. Some might say Mr. Carnival. Charles CROWLEY, Mr. Charles CROWLEY. Warren Banks, the new #1 contender for the Progress title, of course. And, of course, Chris Ridgway. He's been at every show. He's had a fantastic record with Wrestle Carnival. And he is one of the 8 competitors there. So, guys, Dan, we could just about see you there. But one mention is that, of course, Brady Phillips was part of the original lineup. And because Will Cruz, he's currently out injured, Brady Phillips joins Powerhouse Blake in the tag match a bit later, which we'll talk about. And of course, Tommy Kyle came in as Brady's replacement. But looking at the names that we mentioned there, and of course, bearing in mind the format, Dan, I'm going to start with you. Kind of, where's your inkling as far as how the match might go? Yeah, it's quite an interesting format. Can you see any of the individuals, any of the competitors preferring this style of match and possibly going as far as they can?
Well, Jay Joshua's got to be the biggest guy in the ring. So he's got to be one to watch. And at the moment, for me, Warren Banks is definitely one to watch. He is going off on a tear. As you say, he's #1 contender for the Progress Championship. He's also fighting on Thursday night, Danny Black, for the FNW Heavyweight Championship. He is absolutely on a tear at the moment, and I'm sure he would love to have that shiny new belt to add to his collection.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Andy, how do you think things are going to shape up, considering the 8 competitors that we mentioned, the format? Does the format favour any one individual over another?
I think it does, because if this had been any other tournament in any other format, my money's on Chris Ridgway pretty much any time of the day. But because of the Rumble format, it does throw a bit of chaos into it. And there's one man in particular who thrives on chaos in that Carnival match up there. And that is Mr. Carnival himself, Charles CROWLEY. Other than that, Charlie Sterling, his size, speed, athleticism, power, it's in that type of scenario, I think he can go far.
Absolutely. And you've got to think Wrestle Carnival favourite Chris Ridgway, if he does get down to the final 2, obviously the over the top rope Battle Royal Royal Rumble format may not automatically suit him, but if he were to get down to the final 2, you know, he can pretty much make anybody tap, surely. So Chris has to be in contention, certainly if he gets into that final 2. Big Guns Joe, we can't overlook him. The power and the strength of him, he could easily eliminate even the biggest person in that ring. But there's so many possibilities there. And Dan, I've got to throw it back to you. Tommy Kyle, you mentioned him at the top of the preview. He's a late entrant. Because of Will Cruz's injury and Brady Phillips going over to the tag match. So Tommy Kyle, how do you think he will fare in this match?
Well, he's just coming off being one of the final 3 at UBW's Floor is Lava Rumble, where he did very, very well. And Charles CROWLEY was also in the final 3 as well. So he does know CROWLEY very well. He knows Joshua as well. And he is going to find it a little bit more interesting having his wings clipped, because you're not going to be wanting to head to that top rope.
Definitely. And we can't overlook probably the most experienced member of the 8 men, Dean Allmark, of course. He's been saying on his socials that 2022 is going to be his year. This could be the start of that journey. Any thoughts on Dean?
a veteran, a pure class veteran, one of the best technical wrestlers to ever lace the boots in the UK, should rightly be spoken among the likes of Doug Williams. And he proved that in that pure match against Doug. And like you say, much like Chris Ridgway, if he can get to the final, he's a match for anybody. He can take anybody down to the mat and break to his style.
Absolutely. And I want to go back to one individual that you mentioned earlier, Charles CROWLEY. Now, he's had an interesting journey with Wrestle Carnival. We documented that in our last preview for their November show last year. He's got a lot to prove as well. He seems to be under the impression that there's been a little bit of forces working against him, dare we say. He's not had it all his own way. He's got a lot to prove, but also bearing in mind the type of character that he is, I think he's probably got a few tricks up his sleeve as well, dare we say.
And in his hat.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But don't underestimate Charles CROWLEY. I think he'll do anything to be in that final two. But this is a match well, like I say, we've got a whole host of fantastic matches to talk about, but this alone is filled with intrigue, amazing talent, and who will come out the first ever Wrestle Carnival champion. We will have to see on Sunday the 30th at the Portland Centre in Nottingham. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. But guys, we've got just so much more to talk about. Man like Dries, this is Tom Thelwell. Now, admittedly, I've seen a lot of Man like Dries, both at Wrestle Carnival and at other shows. And of course, on Sunday, chapter 127 Progress from the Electric Ballroom, he was absolutely on fire. And he's not let the Wrestle Carnival faithful down in the two showings that he's had there in 2021, looking to make an even bigger name for himself in 2022. And his match against Tom Thelwell is going to be absolutely fantastic. But this will be Tom's debut for Wrestle Carnival, and an introduction to the Nottingham crowd as far as what he is capable of. I've only seen him wrestle once at TNT Extreme Fields last October in a one-on-one match. But guys, what's your knowledge of Tom Thelwell, and how do you think this match is going to go? Dan, I'm going to start with you.
And I'm going to throw it straight over to Andy, because my knowledge of Tom Thelwell is limited to the great matches that I've seen on Powered 4 TV, but I have not had much experience with him. Dries, on the other hand, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing him live for the first time. I think he is absolutely outstanding, and I think he will definitely push Tom Thelwell hard.
Unbelievable, yes. And Andy, we are bowing to your greater knowledge on Mr. Thelwell.
He is the Prince of TNT Ignition, the catchweight champion of Catch Pro Wrestling. He has the power-up briefcase for TNT Ignition, which entitles him to a title shot at any time, at any choosing. This 19-year-old is already a superstar in the Northwest, and it's only a matter of time before he props up across the UK. In fact, I've already seen him pop up down south with FNW Fight Nation. He was part of the Magnificent Seven show, put on a great performance in a six-man ladder match. He's also part of the Youth Revolt tournament for British Wrestling Revolution. Just a fantastic young performer, all-rounder, striking and technique.
And this is why we love Andy being on the show. Thank you very, very much. But it's going to be a great match. It really, really is. It's always a pleasure to see a man like Dries in action wherever he's performing. It'll be my second time and Dan's first time of seeing Mr. Thelwell. How about this one, gentlemen? We alluded to it earlier on. Pure Beef. Normally we see Will Cruz alongside Powerhouse Blake. Obviously he's out injured at the moment, and we hope that Will Cruz gets back in the ring very, very soon against Reese and Rogan. Two individuals I'm not too familiar with, so might be checking in with Andy again to see if he knows much about these individuals. But this is a special attraction tag match, Reese and Rogan versus Pure Beef. Brady Phillips and Powerhouse Blake. I am a massive fan of tag wrestling. Absolutely love it. I think it's an art form and unto itself, and I think it's massively underutilized in wrestling in general. Admittedly, Wrestle Carnival have done a great job at putting on some fantastic tag matches and multi-men matches, so can't fault them at all. But the more tag matches, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Massive fan of Powerhouse Blake and Brady Phillips. I think they've been fantastic for Wrestle Carnival so far. Dan, a fan of this match, and what's catching your eye in particular? How do you think it's going to go?
I'm a big fan of this match, and if they hadn't reinforced the ring for the Rumble, they'd need to for this match, because there is a lot of meat in that ring. They are some big old boys there. Reese and Rogan obviously have got a great tag team. They have been putting their weight behind themselves, and they have been knocking people down all over the UK. Brady Phillips, I hadn't really seen him until the first Wrestle Carnival match. Now every time I see him, it's just, he can do it all. He really can. He is an absolutely fantastic wrestler. He reminds me quite a lot of Charlie Sterling in the fact that he can do everything, similar build, just absolutely great wrestler. And Powerhouse Blake, obviously, he has been a fixture down south, and he is going to work well with Brady Phillips.
And Andy, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, Wrecking Ball Reese and Big Hoss Hogan. It is exactly in the names. They are just Wrecking Balls, and they are big hosses, and they like to throw their weight around. When it comes to pure beef, well, just look at them. They really are just pure beef. As you say, studs. Brady Phillips is an absolute stud, much like Charlie Sterling. He does have it all. That athleticism and a great technical worker. I saw him work a match with Chris Ridge very recently, and toe for toe, with a little bit of a power advantage, he was able to keep up with Chris Ridgway. So he's a one to watch out for this year. And Powerhouse Blake, well, again, it's in the name, Powerhouse.
100%. And Brady Phillips really impressed me with his Wrestle Carnival outings in 2021. And I think that this year is going to be a big year for him. But definitely a lot of beef in that ring. And yes, Gary, if you're listening to this, let's reinforce that ring before Sunday, because you're going to need it, my friend. You're going to need it. But that is, I'd say, huge fan of tag wrestling. I can't wait for that one for sure. You can't beat two big teams knocking the hell out of one another. This is another match I'm particularly looking forward to. Tonga versus Ivy in another special attraction match. And Tonga, we've seen quite a bit around the country, no less on Progress through the No Fan shows in 2021, and has really kind of improved value in her stock by appearing on those shows. But absolutely fantastic character. Ivy, she had an excellent win against Lana Austin at Carnival Mania back in November. Probably one of the biggest wins of her career. And for my money, it was the match of the night. I thought Ivy did a wonderful job there. Fantastic display from both women. A great wrestling match. But Dan, I'm going to hand it over to you. Tonga versus Ivy. This is quite an intriguing match. Give us your thoughts.
I think it's going to be really good. I like Ivy a lot, and I think that she is going to have a good match with Tonga because their styles are a little bit different. Ivy can be that bit more erratic, that bit more, I'm not going to say out of control, but she can definitely fly off the handle more. And I think that she will have her hands full with Tonga.
Definitely. And Dan. Andy, sorry.
Yeah, this is Tonga's debut for Wrestle Carnival, and Ivy is the welcoming wagon. And as you say, a huge win over Lana Austin, one of the best British wrestling women out there, best British wrestlers, let's just call it that. And to pick up a victory like that is huge for Ivy. Can she continue that momentum? Tonga, yes, she's coming in, but she's got a lot of, as you say, a lot of progress behind her, and there's going to be a lot of momentum behind her. Can Ivy knock her back down?
Be very, very interesting. Obviously, Tonga, as you mentioned, making a Wrestle Carnival debut and looking to impress. But Ivy, she's got a point to prove, especially after that strong win against Lana Austin last November, Carnival Mania, and she's not going to want to lose any momentum. So this is going to be, a bit of a stalemate match. Neither one of them are going to want to lose this match. It's going to be very, very interesting. And for the fans there in person in Nottingham on Sunday, that's going to be a fantastic match, isn't it? Let's be honest. Guys, what about this one, though? Gabriel Kidd making his return back to the UK for the first time in probably 2 or 3 years. Nottingham native, of course, big hometown boy against Yota Tsuji. Yeah, there we go. But these two know each other very, very well. Both coming over from New Japan Pro Wrestling, both part of the Young Lions over there, of course, and both have experience of one another in the ring. They have faced each other a number of times. But let's be honest, these are two of the best wrestlers in the world right now, looking to make their mark over here in the UK. And what a privilege, what a pleasure it's going to be to see them perform against one another in Nottingham at Carnival of Champions on Sunday. Dan, I'm going to hand it over to you.
I am so excited for this match. This, for me, I think is going to steal the show. Yota Tsuji has been in the UK for a little while now, wrestling with Rev Pro, and he has really won the fans over. He has become hugely, hugely popular with his combination of great technical skill, his size, and his general persona. Gabriel Kidd coming home as a hometown kid to get this is just going to be wonderful for him. And I'll let Andy explain about their previous matches. I'm not going to take your thunder because you know this a hell of a lot more than I do.
Well, for one, I'm just going to put it out there. I am a Yota Tsuji fan. Okay, he is an absolute stud. I picked this up at a recent Rev Pro UK show. Hopefully, I'll have him there at Wrestle Carnival. You never know. But he is a phenomenal athlete, as is Gabriel Kidd. And as you say, Gabriel Kidd in 2020, he left. He gambled on himself and he moved to Japan. He could have returned home during the pandemic. He did not. He stayed out there and he worked every day in that dojo alongside Yota Tsuji and Yuya Emira. And I remember from the G1 climax of 2020, the three of them, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Emira, and Gabriel Kidd, had incredible matches opening every G1 show. And back then, when you've got the Young Lion system, there's so many restrictions on you. You're only allowed to use the basics. And now the restrictions are lifted. They're going to be able to go all out. And Yota Tsuji has come on leaps and bounds, hitting shooting star presses for a man that's 240, 230-ish. He's able to hit power moves, speed. His spear is lethal. But Gabriel Kidd, he's going to come back with something to prove. As you say, 2020, 2 years ago, he moved out. He's been away from the UK scene. Now it's his time. Now it's his return, and he's completely different from when he left. If you looked at two pictures of 2019 and 2022 Gabriel Kidd, they look nothing alike.
What sort of match can we expect? As you said, the shackles are going to be off. The reins are going to be off with these two. They're going to be able to have a full-blown match against one another. So Dan and then Andy, how do you think this match is going to go?
Fast and hard. There is going to be a wonderful combination of strong strikes and technical exchanges. And I think that people are going to be really surprised by the quality of the match here. I really do think this is going to be the standout match of the night, and I do think that it is just going to be phenomenal.
Andy?
There's going to be a lot of respect between the two, and I can imagine that it will start with a collar and elbow tie-up, and they will start to exchange wrist locks. Then they'll start to unleash the strikes. Now, Gabriel Kidd, he's taken on the fighting spirit of Japan, and of that New Japan style. And he has a short fuse every now and then. He's usually the one first to become the aggressor. So expect to see that, and then expect them to just, as Dan said, strong strikes, and then you'll see things that you wouldn't expect to see from both men.
Incredible, incredible. But gentlemen, how about this one? Axel Tischer versus Joe Hendry. No ordinary match, of course, because Axel Tischer will be over here in the UK and at Wrestle Carnival on Sunday, the 30th of January from the Portland Centre, Nottingham. He will be defending his wXw Unified World Wrestling Championship. So a hell of an opportunity for Joe Hendry, and a great exhibition, a great match for his fans to look forward to at Carnival of Champions. Of course, we all know the credentials of the Axeman and what he did in wXw beforehand, all across Europe, before going over to the States, NXT and WWE, of course. Joe Hendry is on a tear. With his new look and persona and physique and wrestling style, you could say, from 2021 onwards, he's an entirely different animal altogether. So this is going to be an amazing match, and to think we could possibly have a wXw championship match, and dare I say it, you know, a title change in Nottingham on Sunday is a hell of a lot to imagine. But Dan, I'm going to throw it over to you. This is, like I say, if we didn't have the championship matches, this would be the main event of the night, surely. But a cracking match to look forward to.
It definitely would, and don't call me Shirley. With Joe Hendry's experience, two-time gold medalist in wrestling, amateur, with that, you know that he is a genuine threat to that wXw title. Hendry, what, 2 years younger than Tischer? Both the same sort of size, both the same weight. They are going to knock 7 shades out of each other. And it is going to be great, great fun to watch. With a lot of matches like this, you'd say, well, he's wrestling for the belt. Is there going to be a chance of it changing? With Joe Hendry there really, really is that possibility. He is the name that is known all over the world. He is an absolutely fantastic international star, as is Tischer. I genuinely don't know who is going to be walking out holding that gold.
And let's not forget that Joe Hendry, if I'm not mistaken, is still undefeated in Wrestle Carnival. And against Doug Williams in the last match in November, he like I say, overcame against one of the best in the world in a pure rules match. So he's got a lot of momentum behind him. So who's to say that he won't? But Andy, I'd love to know your thoughts on this one.
The former Alexander Wolf, now back to his real name, Axel Tischer, he's only just won this wXw Unified Championship back at wXw True Colors in October. He's coming off his second successful defense, but he knows he's still got something to prove to those to the wXw audience, to the German audience, because this is going to be available on wXw YouTube channel. And with that much to prove, he's going to want to match Joe Hendry every step of the way. You've got the catch German style versus the British amateur freestyle wrestling. Power probably goes to Hendry, but the height and reach is going to go to Tischer. As you say, who's going to win? It's an honest toss-up.
Absolutely. Wow. Salivating over that one. Fantastic match. And the prospect of seeing the wXw Unified World Championship being defended in the UK. Wow. What a match. And that's another pick'em, isn't it? It's going to be hard to think. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, guys, before we have a look at the Women's Championship match, how about this guy? Joseph Connors is expected to be in Nottingham on Sunday. He's going to be addressing the Wrestle Carnival fans. Now, former NXT UK regular is now a free man, and he's got a point to prove. Some might say he's got a chip on his shoulder, but Joseph Connors will be in Nottingham on Sunday. What's he likely to say, guys? What do you think Joseph Connors has in his mind and wants to let the Nottingham fans know what he's got to say.
The shackles are loose.
Any thoughts, Dan?
Well, better a chip on your shoulder than somebody else's bags. I think that Joseph Connors will be very interested in the result of the Carnival of Champions. I think he'll immediately be wanting to have a polite, well thought out, quiet possible word with the winner of that fantastic first match.
Andy?
Yeah, well, that has actually been his MO since he's returned to the scene. He jumped in at British Wrestling Revolution, attacked their champion, and has made it set that he wants that championship belt. He's gone to North Wrestling. He's knocked out their champion. And again, he said, I want that belt. And I can imagine that after he said what he's got to say to the audience, he'll be back out in the championship. And don't be surprised if he knocks him out and takes that championship and says, I want that championship belt.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And of course, we've got Thursday Night Carnival on Thursday, the 17th of February, just round the corner. So less than 3 weeks after Carnival of Champions, we'll be seeing, like I say, the champions defend their crowns, defend their belts for the first time. And I'm sure Joseph Connors will want to be in the mix come Thursday Night Carnival in February. But on to the women's gauntlet match to crown the Queen of the Carnival. Let's go through the competitors, the combatants. Lana Austin, legend of the UK game. Jetta, of course, had a fantastic match. I think it was a few shows ago against Charlie Morgan. And of course, you got Charlie Morgan as one of the 8 competitors on Sunday. Rio, who is the new #1 contender to Giselle Shaw's championship for Progress, and she'll be up against Giselle in the next show in Manchester in February. Lizzie Evo, wow, she's already carrying some silverware over them shoulders of hers, and I'm sure she's going to want to be the first ever Queen of Wrestle Carnival. Chantal Jordan, and this young lady has proved so much in her young and short career, and 2022 is looking to be her career. Mercedes Blaze was the finalist in the tournament to crown the new #1 contender for Progress, and she was on a tear in 2021 and has had some tremendous matches for Wrestle Carnival also. And of course, Alex Windsor, who had that amazing match and that amazing victory over Jordan Grace. Wrestle Carnival Pure, I think it was, back in October. So an absolutely fantastic talent, 8 tremendous competitors, 8 tremendous wrestlers. But there's a lot to think about there. A very, very strong lineup. And once again, bear in mind that the rules and the format of the match starts with 2 individuals. At allotted times, we get another competitor. It's over the top rope, battle royal or Royal Rumble format until it gets down to the final 2, and then pinfall or submission to crown our first ever Queen of the Carnival. Dan, a lot to talk about here, a lot of talent, and a lot to consider. But what's jumping out at you?
For me, it's just the incredible lineup. I mean, you can't predict it. I've got 2 of my absolute favourite wrestlers in there with Rio and Lizzie Evo. I cannot wait to see Rio live. I've been waiting to see her, and I just think she is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Another Northwest Strong member, and I think she's going to do really, really well. Lizzie Evo, of course, done really well with Wrestle Carnival before, and I think has that demure, quiet personality that will see her think her way through this and get through. I reckon Lizzie versus Rio is my final 2. I would be over the moon with that.
Interesting. And of course, we mentioned Rio is the new #1 contender to the Progress Women's Championship, so she's got a lot of memento. Lizzie Evo is the Catch Pro Wrestling Women's Champion and a former TNT Extreme Women's Champion. But drop the bout to Alexis Falcon at one of their most recent shows. So, but looking at some of the other talent in there, Andy, who else jumps out at you, and do you have any favourites?
My favourite, if I'm gonna, it's got to be Alex Windsor, the Rev Pro UK champion. She had probably the best Rev Pro UK match of last year, and that's saying a lot when you had Will Ospreay, Aussie Open competing for you during that period. Her match against Giselle Shaw honestly stands up as one of the best matches of 2021, as does her match with Jordan Grace and her match with Hyam from before. She is one of the best talents in the UK. It's amazing to see her back. Mercedes Blaze and Lizzie Evo, you know, both of them will do anything to win. So that always means they're going to be a threat. Chantal Jordan is new, but she is a legit killer, and we've seen it across the UK. Rio, Northwest Strong, again, serious killer. And then Charlie Morgan, Jetta, Lana Austin, three of the best wrestlers to just come up throughout this scene. You can't pick it, but my heart's going to go for Alex Windsor.
Interesting. And when you look at that lineup, you really are talking about the cream of the crop as far as not just the UK women's division, but UK wrestlers, full stop. It's going to be a tremendous match. Yeah, there's so many standout performers there, so many standout competitors and athletes there. It really, really is hard to pick them. I'm going to ask the same question that I asked about the men's match, and starting with you, Dan. Do you think that the format favors anyone in particular over another as it comes to the Rumble style, and then of course going into the one-on-one pinfall submission style match? Does it favor any one of the combatants?
If it gets down to one-on-one, I think it will definitely favour Rio. As far as overall, I think Mercedes Blaze has got to be a target for everyone. I think that with her, as you mentioned, being willing to do anything, I think she is a badass and will be more than capable of emptying that ring. So I think everyone needs to be keeping an eye on Mercedes Blaze.
And Andy, same question to you. Your thoughts on who the format might favour?
I think the format favours two people most, and that's Riho. Her size, and she's probably going to be the strongest in the tournament. That's going to give her an advantage in the Rumble format. Given her legit wrestling in a one-on-one capacity, again, she's a major threat. And then the other one is Lana Austin. Hips are low. She's one of the smaller girls, and when you've got low hips in wrestling, you've got a slightly bit of better balance, and you're able to get that leverage to lift people over the ropes, and that's what it's going to take to win the Rumble format.
Very, very interesting. And then, so when you talk about styles and the individuals that are in there and the format, it kind of opens so many possibilities, doesn't it? And there's so many intriguing outcomes. And to be honest with you, back to the men's match and the women's match, a lot of it could be down to the luck of the draw as well. It could be down to when you come out. As far as the Rumble is concerned, if you start off 1 and 2, you obviously have a lesser chance of getting through to being in the final 2. You come out a little bit later on in the Rumble, and like I say, the odds are firmly going to be in your favour. So that alone could decide how the matches go and who might end up in the final 2. Guys, going back to this is what it's all about: the championship bouts, the men's championship bout, the women's championship bout to crown the men's Wrestle Carnival champion and the Wrestle Carnival's queen of the carnival. We're only a few days away now. Sunday, the 30th of January, from the Portland Centre in Nottingham. It's going to be a hell of a card, like they always are with Wrestle Carnival. It's their first show of 2022, and they're going to want to hit the ground running. They've got a lot to prove. Like I say, the Tea and Tights podcast voted Wrestle Carnival best new promotion of 2021, and the same for other podcasts and other awards. Gave Wrestle Carnival the same award, best new promotion of 2021. So congratulations to the team behind Wrestle Carnival, and they're going to want to continue that momentum going into 2022. And what a way to do it. We've spoken about 5 matches and 2 gauntlet style matches for the belts. Now that we've discussed all 7 matches, guys, give us your kind of overall thoughts and feelings and anticipation going into Sunday, and you know, how are you feeling now that we've had a chance to discuss it all? Start with you, Dan.
Well, one of the things that I love about Wrestle Carnival is how they interact with the fans, and one of the great things that they've done with this show is the raffle. Everyone loves a raffle at a wrestling show, and if you are the winner of the raffle this year, of this show rather, you get to hand over the championship belt to the new champion. How is that?
Get out of town. Get out of town.
Wonderful. I will be buying a ton of raffle tickets. There's no two ways about that.
I'll be bringing my pocket money. Absolutely.
As far as the show goes, having just gone over it with you guys again, it just reminds me of the sheer volume of talent that is going to be available to see. There are very few shows in the UK that can bring together this type of international talent, northern talent, southern talent, bringing everyone together. Well done, Wrestle Carnival. I am so excited for Sunday.
Absolutely. Andy, give us your final thoughts.
Wrestle Carnival was 18 months in the making, and they hit the ground running once they got their chance, and 2021 was phenomenal. We saw 4 incredible shows. 2022 is just going to be even better, especially when they look at the showcase during wXw 16 Carat next year. The talent that he is bringing in, the way that everything that Gary has done to promote his Wrestle Carnival has been the right way, and they've made the right moves at the right times, and they've got the right performers. It's just going to be a great 2022.
It certainly is. It certainly is. But a hell of a show to look forward to. One of many Wrestle Carnival shows to look forward to in 2022. But what a way to start the year. What a way to hit the ground running and to crown their new champions. It seems a long time in coming, but we're finally there, and we're just a few days away now. But guys, before we let you go, an opportunity for you to throw out any plugs, any socials. Where can we find you on social media, Tea and Tights on social media, and where can we listen to your fantastic podcast?
We are at Tea and Tights Pod on Twitter. Go check us out there. We post daily information, shows throughout the UK. Of course, you can find us on the Johners Network via Spotify, the Johners Podcasting Network, but via Spotify for your audio, and on for video, you can check out bodyslam.net, their YouTube channel. And of course, we have just interviewed the incredible Danny Black, the Kid Without Fear, an amazing interview that's going to be available tomorrow while we're recording. I'm not sure when this is going to be released, but go check out that interview. Obviously, we talk progress, FNW, and some Wrestle Carnival.
We
Absolutely.
do indeed. Thank you so much for having us on, and thank you for letting us be part of the Johners Network. We really do appreciate it, and we do love the app.
Indeed.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And for me, I suppose I got to throw out a quick plug there. On any socials, just search Wrestling with Johners. You can find the podcast Wrestling with Johners on pretty much any audio platform you download your podcast from, or on YouTube, of course. Give us a subscribe. And of course, don't forget to go to wrestlingwithjohners.com for almost 50 channels we've got on there now, audio and video podcasts from all over the world. If you like your wrestling podcast and wrestling content, please go on there, including Lucha Libre and Laughs. We're the exclusive home of Lucha Libre and Laughs, so some wrestling content on there. Also, don't forget to download the Johners Podcasting Network via Google Play Store as well. But guys, it's been a pleasure speaking to you again. We'll probably be doing this in a few weeks' time in the run-up to Thursday Night Carnival. But for now, thank you very much for joining me. And for all of you out there, thank you for watching. And can't wait for Sunday, the 30th of January, Carnival of Champions from the Portland Centre, Nottingham. It's going to be a cracking show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.